This week, a series of random attacks in Central Park.
I run in the park, I take walks in the park. It's very upsetting.
Plus, a sucker punch suspect back on the streets.
As soon as I pass, he hit me very strong.
And crime rates are down. But do New Yorkers feel safe?
I see it more than he does. He doesn't ride the buses and trains like I do every day.
Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are the crimes from across the 5 boroughs. We begin this week in Central Park, where the recent rise in random attacks continued.
2 brazen attacks in Central Park just a couple hours apart. One of the victims was actor Michael Stolberg, who was hit from behind with a rock. That suspect who attacked him was recently sentenced for another attack, but was still out on the street. Good Day's Briella Tomasetti has more.
One man is in custody and another is still on the run after a pair of unprovoked attacks in Central Park. Police say the first one happened at 7:45 Sunday evening near East 90th Street. The victim was 55-year-old actor Michael Stolberg, best known for his role in Boardwalk Empire. According to the NYPD, Stolberg was out for a run when a man threw a rock at the back of his head. He allegedly chased down his attacker until he was apprehended by police outside the Russian consulate.
I run in the park, I take walks in the park. It's very upsetting to hear that this is happening.
27-year-old Xavier Israel was charged with assault and harassment and held on $50,000 cash bail at his arraignment. In January of 2022, he was arrested and charged for punching and stealing the wallet of a Good Samaritan who tried to give him his coat. The Manhattan DA says he pleaded guilty to that attack this October and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. According to the New York Post, though, Israel remained in the city's custody until November 3rd of last year. After that, the Post says he was transferred to state prison for just 1 month because he was granted credit toward his sentence from the time he already spent behind bars. Stolberg refused medical attention and was back on stage last night for a preview of the Broadway play Patriots at the Barrymore Theater. Just hours after he was assaulted, another attack unfolded on the west side of Central Park. Police say a 39-year-old woman was struck from behind by a man wielding a hammer while walking near 64th Street and Center Drive. He took off afterwards on a moped or a scooter.
I feel safe during the day. I won't come into the park at night unless I'm with a group of people.
Up in the Bronx, a call to the NYPD leads officers straight to a squatter's den.
Now to a major bust in the Bronx. Several migrants arrested, accused of squatting inside the basement of a home.
All right, police also uncovering a large cache of weapons and drugs. Fox 5's Antoine Lewis has more on the investigation from the Norwood section of the Bronx.
There were a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of motorcycles. At one point, there were 7, 8 motorcycles parked in the back.
Alfred Munoz describes what he's seen happening at the house next door. Just after 10 last Wednesday night, police got a call about a person with a gun near Hull Avenue and East 207th Street in the Bronx. Arriving officers arrested 2 men in a basement apartment of the house. Police say that a further search turned up guns, including a ghost gun, ammunition, and 2 bags of ketamine. One, police say, was mixed with cocaine. The house right across the street from a school.
It's dangerous because it's not nice that person come, and I think that's not they don't pay rent in this house.
The NYPD says the suspects are migrants who were squatting inside the apartment. Authorities went on to arrest a total of 7 suspects on various gun and drug charges. At least 2 are also facing additional charges related to the welfare of a child. Munoz says he believes the squatters took up residence about 6 months ago. He and other neighbors are glad they're gone.
Obviously, you don't want hooligans hanging out with you or living near you. It's a very peaceful, quiet street.
Police say the suspects range in age from the mid-20s to the upper 30s, and several are being investigated as part of a series of robberies that took place in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Moving to Brooklyn, a woman is left with a broken jaw after a random attack by a man with a violent past.
Walking on the street and hit by a stranger, victim Dulce Pichardo is speaking out.
As soon as I pass, he hit me very strong.
Did he say anything?
He doesn't say anything.
Pichardo says it was around 5 p.m. on Tuesday in Brooklyn on Grand Avenue between Dean Street and Atlantic Avenue. She was on her way home from work when it happened.
I was bleeding a lot. It hurts. I know something broken because I feel it.
She says she was left with a broken jaw. She lost some teeth and has suffered permanent nerve damage. She was in the hospital. Now she's recovering. Wires are clamping her mouth shut through the healing process, and she may need surgery, she says.
It's numb.
So it's numb, so I can move it. I can feel it.
Pichardo ran to her family restaurant and told her brother what happened.
I said, what happened, what happened? He told me, the guy, he hit me.
Fausto Pichardo says he went after the guy. In the meantime, someone called 911.
I said, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing.
So he denied it?
Yeah.
Police arrived and cuffed him. The NYPD says friend Judy was arrested and charged for the assault. The 33-year-old pled not guilty, and he was released without bail. He will face a judge again in May in connection to the case.
That's why I'm here, told my story, because I don't want this happening again.
Returning to the Bronx, police are searching for the suspect in a deadly bodega shooting in West Farms.
Police releasing a photo of the suspect wanted for the deadly shooting of a 29-year-old man at a Bronx bodega.
They say the suspect was trying to rob another man when there was a struggle for the gun and it shot off, hitting the victim in the thigh.
All right, Fox 5's Kendall Green live outside the store in West Farm section with the very latest today. Kendall.
Hey, good evening, Steve and Natasha. That shooting happened inside of this bodega early Sunday morning. And since that shooting, you can see loved ones have left candles and messages in memory of that victim. And we're told shoppers were actually inside when that shooting happened. Now, the NYPD is looking for everyone's help to find suspects wanted in connection with that murder on Easter Sunday. It happened around 4:20 a.m. inside of the bodega when police say the man thereafter walked up to another man, showed his gun, and tried to rob him. Now, after that fight with his victim, he shot 29-year-old Stephon Barnes in the right thigh and took off heading west up Tremont Avenue. Now, Barnes was then rushed to the St. Barnabas Hospital where doctors sadly couldn't save him. Now, those who shop here, they're both disgusted and shaken by that murder.
It's very nerve-wracking, you know, because I was in the store just when it started to start. And I grabbed all my stuff and I left. I heard a gunshot go off, and I don't know. I didn't come out to find out what happened and what was going on. I mind my business, you know.
Not many details are out there about the individual behind the gun, but you can see him here. He's described by police as a man with a medium complexion, between 5'10" and 6 feet tall, with a medium build. He was wearing all black. His jacket, his sweatpants, sweatshirts, and shoes, again, all black.
Over in Fordham Heights, anti-gun activists rally after a 2-year-old is struck by gunfire.
The rain not keeping people from rallying in the Bronx tonight to stop senseless gun violence.
That's right. It all comes after a toddler was shot over the weekend. Thankfully, he survived. Fox 5's Kendall Green was at tonight's rally and joins us live in the Fordham section of the Bronx with more. Kendall.
Hey, good evening, Steve and Natasha. That toddler just turned 3 one day after Saturday's shooting, and those wounds are not just fresh for him, they're fresh for the entire community that came out in his defense tonight.
Especially a day before your birthday. Nobody should be getting shot.
Anti-gun violence activists braved the cold and rain to make their message clear through chants and signs Tuesday.
One shot, too many. One shot, too many.
Passion from the rally echoed into the road just outside of TD Bank. That's where a 2-year-old was shot. Shot by 20-year-old Freddie Flores, shooting at a group of men Saturday in Fordham, according to police. They say he missed his target, hitting the toddler in his lower back, and that bullet exited through his leg, all just a day before his birthday. Bronx rises against gun violence among several local groups promoting peace, calling for an end to senseless shootings, especially with an innocent child involved.
This is broad daylight. This is in a heavily populated shopping district on a Saturday when people are shopping, and this little boy walking with his mom passing by the bank. This should never happen.
Among the demonstrators' moms, like Carla Carrera, who believes the shooting victim could have very easily been her child, since she and her daughter were out and about the same day.
I am a mother of a 3-year-old daughter. We go shopping here very often. We grab slices from across the street, and it's just very horrible that something like that could happen to any of us.
If the group has their way, the sickening violence stops, and the message to those behind the violence don't just fall on deaf ears.
It's very sad to see that the gun violence has taken over and is plaguing our community, and we don't want it no more.
Now, just to clarify that, Tyler just celebrated his 3rd birthday on Sunday. As for the person accused of that shooting, 20-year-old Freddie Flores, he's been charged with attempted murder, 3 counts of assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and reckless endangerment.
And back in Brooklyn, a grieving community calls for change in the wake of a deadly drive-by shooting.
A group of families rallying in Canarsie, Brooklyn, following the murder of 19-year-old Christian Josiah Montrose, killed in a drive-by shooting earlier this month. Fox 5's Kendall Green has more on what the family is calling for following his death.
Flowers, candles, and so many pictures lined the driveway where 19-year-old Christian Josiah Montrose last stood.
His name! Christian Montrose! His name! Christian Montrose!
Days after he was laid to rest, the family and loved ones of the teen on Easter Sunday, remembering the young soul lost to senseless gun violence earlier this month.
They murdered my child. I need justice for my child. I need justice for Christian.
I was trying to hold him, and he was a strong son. You know, I hold him, and he was trying to say something.
A video shows his teen standing right outside of his house when someone in a black Acura pulls out a gun and shoots the teen multiple times. The family is hoping their pain can turn into change.
We're asking for 1.8 million. What is the cost of a life in our community if we can't get 1.8 million?
$1.8 million in the city's budget aimed at jobs, investment in education, and initiatives against gang violence. That's created more victims like Christian.
Just 2 months ago, was outside for Javelle Lawton.
The 15-year-old was shot and killed in Canarsie at Bayview Houses on January 2nd.
It is about time that we invest in what matters the most to us.
The council member calling for an investment that would make way for peace and closure for grieving families.
No parent should go through that. No parent on this face of the earth should go through that.
And finally, in Lower Manhattan, Mayor Adams says crime rates are down. But how safe do New Yorkers really feel?
Mayor Eric Adams and the NYPD are doing a victory lap, touting the latest stats that they say show crime in the city and subway system are down.
Good day's Briella Tomasetti live at the Columbus Circle subway station with the latest on these numbers and also whether people are actually feeling safe. Briella, good morning.
Yeah, Robert and Tashani, good morning to both of you. And remember, statistics are one thing, but perception is another. In other words, people don't always judge based on the numbers, right? They judge based on their own experiences. And right now, the city is up against a mental health crisis, repeat offenders, and random acts of violence.
I definitely hear people getting pushed on the tracks all the time.
Many New Yorkers feel that they could fall victim to violent crime on the subway at any given moment. Over the past few weeks alone, we've reported on fatal subway shootings, shoves, and other violent assaults. Yet the mayor is trying to reassure concerned commuters that riding the rails is safe.
Can we please stop saying we're up in crime in our subway system? We are not. We're down in crime in the subway system.
I think it's reality, what I'm living, because I see it more than he does. He doesn't ride the buses and trains like I do every day.
Mayor Adams sat alongside NYPD top brass yesterday to announce that subway crime was down more than 23% in March. He attributed that success to new technology and a greater police presence.
We're going to surge police officers, we're going to use technology, and we're going to call on the other parts of the criminal justice system.
But that's not all. The mayor says murders, rapes, burglaries, and grand larcenies are all down so far this year compared with the same time last year. On our 6 o'clock news last night, he also touted the NYPD's surge in arrests.
We can't take away from the increase in arrests by our police officers, the job they have been doing every day in keeping New Yorkers safe on quality of life issues and even fare evasion enforcement.
Since the start of 2024, overall arrests in the subway system are up almost 53%, including an 83% increase in gun arrests and an almost 80% jump in fare evasion arrests. But how do riders perceive it?
It's nice to hear that the arrests are up, but I still hear a lot of stuff that kind of leads me in the other sense.
Yep, the subway riders still incredibly on edge. And while most major crimes were down during the first quarter of this year compared to last, felony assaults and robberies were both up by around 4%.
And that's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.